Hi guys, I'm Sean from 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗲𝗲, and today let's dive into this highly anticipated launch in District 15, Emerald of Katong. This will be the fourth launch in the area within 2 years after 𝗃𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀, 𝗃𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. In this video, I'm going to explain why I feel Emerald of Katong is going to be the best new launch project in the whole of 2024, even though there are 3 burning factors which I don't quite like about this development. Do watch to the end of the video to find out what these 3 factors are, so you can take them into consideration when deciding whether to buy this project or not.
Similar to how you should get a loan IPA before making a purchase, you should also do an IPA of the condo before making this huge commitment. To guide you in your decision making, I'll be reviewing based on these 5 factors. Number 1, location and amenities. Number 2, facilities and upkeep. Number 3, demand versus supply in the area. Number 4, pricing versus surrounding developments. And finally, layout. And an overall score will be given at the end. If you would like me to send you the Excel version of my evaluation matrix that allow you to convert real transaction data into an absolute score for the development, do contact me via my WhatsApp number on screen, or just click on the link in the description below and I'll be happy to advise further. Alright, let's go!
In terms of location, Emerald of Katong is situated just next to 𝗃𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀 on the other side of Jalan 𝗃𝗵𝗀. It is sitting on a massive plot of land that can be developed by 𝗰𝗵𝗃 into a brand new 846 unit development. By the way, as part of the tender documents for this site, 𝗰𝗵𝗃 is required to create a 0.52 hectare public park right next to the development, so residents will get to enjoy some greenery from the park right at their doorstep. It is a pretty effortless stroll, about 5 minutes walk to the new Tanjong Katong MRT. Come, let me show you. Basically, you just have to cut across the future park to Tanjong Katong Road and continue walking down the pavement. You will see some shop houses with cafes and restaurants on the right hand side. There's also a coffee shop and 7-Eleven over here. After crossing the road, you will see one amber, and before you know it, we are at the MRT station. Parkway Parade, just one stop away, provides the ultimate convenience by offering a comprehensive range of products and services across its over 250 stores. You also get to enjoy the vibrant culture of Katong with a diverse mix of dining and retail options. Its prime location, nestled close to the city, yet within a town with so much heritage, presents a balanced living experience for those seeking both convenience and character. So location is 8 out of 10 for me.
You might be wondering, why do I say Emerald of Katong is going to be the best new launch in 2024 when there are other highly anticipated developments like the Tran Park next to Lorong Tran MRT and the mixed development next to the upcoming Tampines North MRT? Well, in terms of location, yes, these 2 other developments are literally right next to the MRT. But for Emerald of Katong, this is probably as close as you can get to the upclass Amber Road vicinity at an affordable price point in the foreseeable future. Other than Mayor Blue, which is at a totally different price point, and another land plot below Emerald, which hasn't been released yet, there are no more empty plots in the Amber and Mayor locale. No offense, but the level of atasness for Lorong Tran and Tampines North pale in comparison. I believe Emerald of Katong's location, together with its estimated pricing, which I'll explain later in another section, makes it stand out versus other launches this year. In terms of facilities as well as the look and feel of this development, unfortunately the developer has not released the site plan yet. But given that Emerald of Katong is situated on quite a sizable plot with more than 220,000 square feet of land area, I'm pretty sure we will be getting full condo facilities with a usual lap pool, function room, gym, tennis court, barbecue pits, and etc. Of course, it might not be as impressive compared to 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and the Continuum, which have bigger land plots, but at least it doesn't come with a multi-story car park like 𝗃𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, as I feel minimally for a condo to have a certain level of finishing, it should come with a basement car park. So, Coming to the first thing I don't quite like about Emerald, you might have already noticed, and that's the future nursing home right beside the development. Some buyers might view it negatively as it might affect the overall look and feel of the development. I feel it's not a deal breaker though. For example, if it's a place of worship or a utility plant right next to the development, then there can be more adverse effect on your future resale value. On balance, I'll give a rating of 7 out of 10 for the facilities factor. Coming to demand versus supply, this will be more of a quantitative analysis. You always hear people saying this project will have high demand because it is near the MRT station or near a certain primary school. But how do you actually measure how strong the demand is? In my attempt to quantify demand in the area, I decided to use transaction volume in the last 1 year divided by the number of listings that are currently on sale, which I term it as the demand ratio. So, if there were 20 transactions in the last 1 year, but currently only 5 listings on sale, this will give me a high demand ratio and indicate that the demand is pretty healthy because there are more units that have already been transacted recently compared to the number of units that are currently available in the market. On the other hand, if there are only 5 transactions in the last 1 year but 20 available listings for sale, this will give me a low demand ratio and indicate that the sellers are facing some difficulty in offloading their units. Basically, the higher the demand ratio, the better. The next thing we need to do is to evaluate the demand ratio of comparable developments in D15 with similar characteristics as Emerald of Katong. What I'm going to do is to filter developments that are within a 500-meter radius to the MRT station, have at least 400 units so we know that the development is more sizable with proper facilities, and developments that TOP from the year 2000 and onwards so we don't benchmark with developments that are too old. I'm going to do the analysis for the 3 bedrooms first. What we got is 9 developments over here that fulfill these criteria. Finally, I went to look at their transaction volume in the last 1 year, divided by the number of listings currently in the market, and that will give me an overall demand ratio of 85.7%. Remember, the higher the demand ratio, the better. But what does a demand ratio of 85.7% mean? So, I have a scale which helps me to translate the demand ratio into a score. A low demand ratio of below 40% will only give me 1 point, but a high demand ratio of more than 70% will give you the max 5 points. In this case, given that the overall demand ratio of developments similar to Emerald of Katong is similarly strong, we can project that the demand for 3 bedrooms at Emerald of Katong should be pretty decent as well. However, following the same methodology for the 2 bedrooms, the overall demand ratio that we got is weaker at 51.2%, which translates to a median score of 3. We should note that this is partially due to the large number of units at 𝗵𝗶𝗲𝗲 at the moment. Given that it just obtained TOP, it is normal to observe many smaller units being put on sale by investors looking to cash out. So this number should taper down gradually, which should improve the demand ratio for the 2-bedders over time. I hope I have not lost you because now we are going to look at how I quantify supply in the area, in which I decided to use the number of listings that are currently on sale divided by the total number of units in the development, which I term it as the supply ratio. In an extreme case, if there are 50 listings in the market for sale out of 100 units in the entire development, this means that half of the development is trying to exit at the same time. This will give me a high supply ratio and indicate that there is an oversupply, which is not good. So in this case, the lower the supply ratio, the better. So let's come back to the same 9 developments we benchmarked with earlier. For the 3-bedders, I took the number of listings currently in the market divided by the total number of 3-bedroom units in each development, and we actually got a very low supply ratio of 3.7%. For the 2-bedders, the supply ratio is still pretty decent at 7.7%, even with the large number of units at sale at 𝗵𝗶𝗲𝗲 at the moment. This translates to a scoring of 5 and 4 respectively based on the scale I have developed. Combining the scoring for both demand and supply, we actually got the full 10 points for the 3-bedders and 7 points for the 2-bedders. However, coming to the second thing I don't quite like about Emerald, and it is a fact that this is the 4th launch of a sizable development within just 2 years. This gives us a total of 3308 additional supply being added on, so it will definitely affect the demand and supply ratios which we calculated earlier. The saving grace is we know Continuum's location is deeper in and at a different price point altogether, given that it is freehold, so the target market will be very different. 𝗁𝗏𝗯's location is fantastic in my opinion, but some might argue it is not really D15 given that it is right at the fringe of D14 and D15. 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃 will be the closest competitor, but I'm sorry it comes with a multi-story car park. Regardless, it will still affect demand versus supply in the area, so I'm just going to adjust the overall score to 9 and 6 for the 3 and 2 bedders respectively. By the way, I hope you can see the amount of work and effort put into the research, so I would really appreciate if you can help me by clicking on the like button and subscribing to my channel. It will really motivate me to continue doing more of such videos. And of course, if you are planning to buy a property and think we are a good fit, do reach out to me on WhatsApp. Alright, back to the video. Next up, let's take a closer look at Emerald of Katong's pricing. You might already be aware that Sim-Lian secured the land at almost 18% below CDL and MCL's bid for 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃, which transacted at an average of 2465 PSF on launch day. Will Sim-Lian also choose to launch at 24XX PSF? We don't know. What we do know is the developer will definitely have to adjust their pricing to take into account the latest GFA harmonization rules, which is actually the third thing I do not quite like about Emerald. Under the new GFA rulings, developers have to exclude the aircon ledge space as part of the sellable strata area. So for exactly the same layout at 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃 and Emerald, you might notice that 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃's 3-bedroom floor area is 1000 square feet, but Emerald's floor area is only 940 square feet. This means that if both units have the same price quantum of 2.5 million for example, Emerald's PSF will appear higher, even though you're essentially paying the same price for the same floor area. For buyers who are not so familiar, they might think that Emerald is not a good buy because its PSF is so much higher than 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃. Hopefully, with more developments launched under the new GFA ruling, buyers will become more aware that this will be the norm from now on. Coming back to the price comparison with the more recent developments in D15, and assuming Emerald launches at an average price of 2500 PSF, you will notice that it is still comparable or cheaper than other leasehold developments at seaside residences, 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃 and 𝗁𝗏𝗯. There is also a significant 500 PSF price gap between Emerald and the freehold developments at Amber Park and Continuum. In addition, it is only marginally more expensive than the 𝗁 and 𝗃𝗵𝗀𝗲, which are already 15 years and 17 years into the lease respectively. If we were to compare based on price quantum, 3 bedders at 1 Amber and the 𝗃 have already hit 3 to 3.2 million range, while it will likely only be around 2.5 million range at Emerald of Katong. And that is why I mentioned this price is considered affordable in this estate. On the other hand, the Chuan Park, which is an OCR development, is also expected to launch at 2500 PSF. However, this is significantly higher versus the recent nearby developments such as Forest Woods at 19XX PSF and Scala at 17XX PSF. Likewise, the Tampines North Mixed development plot will likely launch around 2000 PSF. While I feel this is considered reasonable, but it is also pretty much higher versus the 2 EC plots next door at 14XX to 15XX PSF. Overall, I'll probably give a rating of 8 out of 10 if Emerald launches at the price range of around 2500 PSF. The final factor to evaluate is the layouts in the development. Usually I will compare the floor plans of this development versus surrounding projects for each respective unit type. For example, I'll do a floor plan analysis of the 3 bedders in Emerald of Katong versus 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃 versus 𝗁𝗏𝗯 to determine which layout is more efficient and desirable and hence more easy to resell in the future. However, it's still early days, so the floor plans are not out and hence I'm not able to evaluate yet. But rest be assured, with the new GFA harmonization guidelines, we wouldn't see excess aircon ledge, balcony or bay window space, which is more common in the older developments. As such, I'm just going to give a ballpark rating of 7 out of 10 in the meantime, subject to further assessment. Another key thing which is crucial in determining your exit strategy is the stack and pricing analysis, whereby I will evaluate the price differentials between different stacks. to determine if the premium for the so-called better facing units is worth paying or not. You'll be surprised that there are times when poorer facing units end up making higher profit than good facing units because the developer charged too high a premium during the launch day. Choosing the right unit is sometimes more important than choosing the right development. So, if you like what you see, do reach out to me to arrange for an exclusive show flat preview and I'll be happy to advise further. Overall, given that this is one of the last few chances to own a property with a desirable address in D15 and hopefully attractive pricing that is reasonable versus its surrounding developments, I'm confident that Emerald of Katong is one of the best, if not the best launch in 2024. Even though there might be some slight oversupply due to 4 developments being launched in 2 years, I feel Emerald of Katong has its own market of buyers that is looking for a good balance between location and pricing. As such, my overall rating for this development will be 7.8 out of 10 for the 3-bedders and 7.2 out of 10 for the 2-bedders. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my evaluation. And with that, thank you so much for staying to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our Happy Homes Property YouTube channel for the latest content. If you are looking at a few other developments and would like me to evaluate, feel free to reach out to me at 94515625 or click on the link in the description below and I'll be happy to evaluate further. Once again, I'm Sean and I'll see you soon.